The first thing that strikes you is the echo. Not gunfire, not shouting, just a steady, heavy drip, dripping somewhere ahead, counting down silently. It is the morning of June 6, 1944. The air inside a narrow railway tunnel in Normandy stings the lungs with a cold that feels alive. Boots scrape over wet stone. Outside, the world has erupted with the chaos of D-Day, but down here, it is a different conflict. Quiet, calculated. One wrong move could end a life before it is fully understood. The tunnel lies near the village of St. Lo, following an old rail line snaking through low hills and hedgerows. It is obscure, unmarked on most maps. Yet hours after the first reports of Allied landings, every obscure nook gains sudden significance. Bridges, roads, tunnels, each a potential passage for invading forces or a hiding place for saboteurs. By mid-morning, German units rush to control every route that might let the enemy advance. Some commanders predict supply movements along the rail corridors. Others fear traps, insurgent ambushes, hidden underfoot. At the front of the patrol is Unra Karl Pfizer, a seasoned NCO in his early 30s. He relies more on instinct than orders, careful and sharp-eyed, aware of how panic spreads and how quickly it can destroy a unit. Behind him, 6 soldiers move cautiously, carrying Carabiner 98K rifles, one with an MP40, another cradling a fragile yet deadly MG34. Their faces are streaked with grime, uniforms damp. Each constantly scans the shadows, expecting movement. At first, the tunnel appears deserted. The air smells of rust, wet stone, and faint smoke. The tracks remain, unused for years. The patrol keeps to the right-hand wall, flashlights slicing cones of light through the dust and mist. The chill seems to crawl under clothing. The metallic tang of the air reminds one of pennies or dried blood. Pfizer raises a hand, freezing the line, and listens. Beneath the constant drip, there is another sound, a soft, faint scratching far ahead. The men exchange uneasy glances. In a tunnel like this, any noise could be a trap. Rats, a loose metal fixture, or a wounded Allied soldier hiding from discovery. Yet, it could also be the work of the French resistance, set to spring on unsuspecting German soldiers. Pfizer signals. 2 men advance slowly, weapons raised, lights dimmed. The beam swings over the tracks and catches an anomaly. A thin wire, almost invisible at ankle height, stretches across the path. A soldier freezes, boot hovering just above it, swallowing nervously. The tunnel contracts in perception. The wire lacks any visible trigger. No grenade, no box. That is the most unnerving part. The resistance rarely wastes effort. A wire in their hands is a warning of serious intent. Pfizer crouches, eyes following the wire as it disappears into a small alcove carved into the wall. The flashlight slides across the recess and reveals stacked crates. Not civilian, not old. Military. Dusted, but marked just enough to identify them. The wood is fresh, the nails new, indicating recent activity. It is more than a single hidden stash. The pile stretches beyond the reach of their flashlights. The patrol spreads out, tense, breaths loud in the quiet. The soldier with the MP40 keeps his aim on the darkness, expecting an ambush. Another readies the MG34, finger brushing the trigger, eyes scanning. Then Pfizer notices prints in the dust. Dozens of heavy boots of varying sizes, moving in organized patterns, not random. The tunnel is a supply route. Pfizer signals to cut the wire carefully. A man steps forward, hands trembling despite the cold, and slices it. Nothing explodes, no shots ring out. The unease remains. Often, traps are designed to lull. They press forward. The tunnel bends slightly. The air warms imperceptibly. The drip slows. They stop abruptly at a wooden door. Not a maintenance panel, not a tool room entry. Reinforced, metal straps crisscross, a fresh padlock hangs from a thick chain. It looks hastily built but deliberate. Pfizer approaches, shining the light on scratches etched deep into the wood, like fingernails or metal in panic. One soldier whispers, almost involuntarily, "Someone is inside." Pfizer signals for silence, but it is too late. Muffled sounds come from beyond the door, soft thumps, a fractured voice speaking French, barely audible at first. Leaning closer, Pfizer tries to catch the words. The voice repeats, tremulous and fearful, a mantra of desperation. For a moment, the distant war seems to vanish, leaving only the tension within this narrow hidden passage. The soldiers regard the door as if it were a living trap, unsure which side of it they might fall on. Pfizer's mind races, imagining prisoners, resistance members, Allied troops, or civilians confined for reasons not yet understood. He does not smash the lock. That restraint separates a leader from one driven solely by fear. He steps back, surveying the surrounding area with care. Every inch of ground is inspected for wires. Hinges are checked for hidden explosives. The walls are scrutinized. All seems unnervingly still, yet the faint voice continues, fragile and persistent. Finally, Pfizer gives a nod. Two men advance with weapons at the ready while another kneels at the lock, tool in hand. The metal protests softly, the squeal echoing down the tunnel, sounding almost like a warning. The lock breaks. The chain falls. Pfizer eases the door open just enough to remain shielded behind its sturdy edge. A pungent odor hits first. Stale air mingled with sweat, human waste, and something sharp, chemical-like, reminiscent of disinfectant soaked into damp fabric. The flashlight beam slides across the chamber and exposes what none of the patrol expected. Against the stone walls, a group huddles. They are not soldiers. They are children, perhaps 20 or more, pressed into the carved space, faces pale, eyes wide and hollow. Some cannot stand. A few cling together silently, conditioned to believe that sound invites punishment. Clothing is mismatched, coats either too large or too small, sleeves rolled up, shoes threadbare. Hair is unkempt, lips cracked. When the light falls upon them, they do not move forward. Reflexive fear makes them flinch. They have learned that illumination often comes with suffering. The patrol is silent. Even the MP-40 operator lowers his weapon unconsciously. Pfizer feels his stomach drop. This is not a defensive position. This is no stockpile of arms. It is a cage. A young girl, roughly 10 years old, blinks against the light, grime streaking her face. She meets Pfizer's gaze and whispers a name. Behind her, a boy coughs weakly, attempting to rise but collapsing halfway. Pfizer steps forward with measured caution, boots silent so as not to terrify them further. He crouches and speaks in simple French, gently asking who they are and where their parents might be. The children do not respond immediately. Eyes dart between each other, then the soldiers, then the open door, as if disbelief keeps them rooted. Finally, an older boy, around 13, breaks the silence. His voice is dry, trembling. He recounts how they were taken from nearby villages, some orphans, others hiding with relatives, some whose parents were arrested. The boy does not know why they were brought here, only that men in German uniforms had been using the tunnel for weeks, sometimes months, moving crates, constructing doors, and locking them whenever the space was active. In recent days, the situation worsened. Guards grew tense as air raids increased. More footsteps echoed, more shouting broke out, and supplies were shuffled hastily. Rations dwindled. Water became scarce. The boy recalls the previous day, June 5th, when the guards argued, one insisting the Allies were approaching, another claiming the tunnel must be sealed, all contents abandoned. Pfizer senses the chill that sweeps through his team. The children are not the only secret held here. Stepping back into the tunnel, Pfizer surveys the tracks again. The stacked crates, the reinforced door, the tripwire. This is no mere prison. It is a concealed installation, a nerve center hidden beneath the battlefield. One soldier is ordered to remain with the children, offering the limited water they can spare. Another dashes toward the tunnel entrance to deliver a report. The remaining men press deeper, following the tracks beyond the chamber. The farther they go, the tunnel transforms. Side passages branch off, storage niches appear, and a few lanterns hang from nails, evidence that someone anticipated long-term use. Pfizer's flashlight illuminates piles of papers stuffed into a corner. He wipes off the dust. The documents bear official stamps. While the dim light prevents reading every detail, it is clear enough. Military schedules, supply inventories, lists of equipment. The patrol moves on and encounters an unexpected sight. A rail cart rests on the tracks, partially draped with canvas. Approaching cautiously, weapons ready, Pfizer pulls back the covering. Inside lie crates labeled with warnings, explosives, ammunition, detonators, yet not intended for conventional combat. There are shaped charges, bundles of wiring, timers, demolition tools designed to obliterate bridges, rupture roads, and collapse rail lines. This is the type of ordnance that transforms a tunnel into a lethal trap if triggered. Pfizer notices a label that stands out, even to a soldier untrained in engineering. Springs T explosive material. Numbers suggesting far more than a small sabotage unit could carry. This discovery is enough to chill anyone. The tunnel could become a tomb. The patrol freezes, the realization sinking in. This subterranean passage is more than a hiding place. It is a strategic trap. Should the Germans fail to hold Normandy, they could obliterate critical routes, hinder the Allied advance, and bury the unwary. Now, with the invasion underway, the tunnel is a precarious, ticking threat. Pfizer instructs the men to fan out and inspect for firing circuits. Thicker wires lead into side chambers. One soldier traces a line to a makeshift control point, an old wooden table bearing a field phone, battery pack, and switches. Someone has constructed a detonation station underground. It is real, it is operational, and it has been abandoned only in the confusion of D-Day. Pfizer imagines, for a fleeting moment, the catastrophic consequences if the patrol had cut the wrong wire or opened the wrong crate. The entire tunnel could have collapsed without warning. The children might have perished unnoticed, their lives snuffed out before anyone above realized it. The patrol could have vanished into the dark, while above ground, the battle raged on as if nothing had happened. Pfizer steps back from the crude control table, drawing deliberate breaths. He commands that every wire found must be marked. Nothing else is to be touched. Detonators are off limits. Engineers must arrive immediately. Yet war never allows for simplicity. Outside, units are already engaged in deadly combat. Commanders shout for reinforcements. Radios crackle with panic and partial reports. A countryside tunnel filled with crates and captives is far from a priority until someone grasps its full significance. Back at the chamber, the children begin to stir, slow and hesitant, like people waking from a prolonged nightmare. The soldier left to watch them distributes small portions of bread and carefully rationed water, mindful not to overwhelm fragile bodies. A small boy clutches the bread as though it could vanish. Another child tries to rise, swaying dangerously before being steadied by the soldier. Pfizer returns to witness the way the children's eyes follow the German uniforms. Their fear has not faded. To them, these soldiers remain the enemy. Pfizer feels a sensation long buried, a mix of shame and anger, not at the Allies, nor the resistance, nor the chaos surrounding war, but at the sheer cruelty of adults using children as tools, discarding them like cargo. He understands the machinery of orders, how they cascade downward like unstoppable currents. He also knows that men must decide the kind of soldiers they will be within those orders. Someone made a deliberate choice here. The patrol's runner returns, bringing additional men, including a junior officer, Lieutenant Hans Becker, who appears sleep-deprived. Becker listens to Pfizer's account and enters the tunnel, his expression hardening at the sight of the children. In clipped tones, he explains that this exceeds their immediate responsibility. Engineers will handle the explosives, intelligence will secure the documents, military police will take charge of prisoners if these children even qualify as such. But Pfizer cannot accept Becker's clinical detachment. He insists the children must be removed before any further action. Becker hesitates, eyes tracing the tunnel's dark length, as if expecting unseen danger. He is fearful of responsibility. Evacuating children amid an invasion is chaotic. It raises questions, generates witnesses, and creates narratives beyond command control. Yet the decision is made. The children are to be escorted out. One by one, they move into the main tunnel, squinting against flashlight beams. Their feet shuffle across wet stone, a few holding hands, most keeping their heads low. Every step seems an effort. Emerging into daylight, the sun strikes their faces like an impossibility. Some flinch at the brightness. One child silently begins to weep, as if the body remembers sorrow even when the voice has forgotten how to express it. Outside, the world rumbles again with distant artillery. Engines of aircraft drone overhead. Smoke stains the sky. Men are dying hundreds at a time somewhere far beyond this hidden spot. Yet here, near this obscure tunnel, a different kind of salvation occurs. Small, quiet, almost accidental. As the children are escorted to a safer location near a farm building, Pfizer watches Becker's men begin to secure the tunnel entrance. Engineers arrive later that afternoon on June 6, 1944, around 1500 hours, equipment in hand and faces etched with grim focus. They crawl along the tunnel, tracing wires, locating charges, assessing the potential for the entire structure to erupt into ruin. Some detonators are already connected, though the firing system is incomplete. Perhaps it was to be finalized later, or intended for use only in retreat. This detail changes everything. The tunnel's abandonment was no accident. It remained a choice: detonate and erase evidence, or leave it and risk capture by enemy forces. The engineers proceed cautiously, disarming what they can and removing what they can carry. Time is limited. The front moves, orders shift hour by hour, yet enough material is neutralized to prevent a sudden collapse. The tunnel transforms into an intelligence trove. Documents, demolition equipment, and proof of a hidden underground operation intertwined with the chaos of the invasion. For Pfizer, however, the tunnel represents something beyond intelligence. He will never forget the steady drip of water, the wires stretched at ankle height, the locked door with scratch marks, or the ghostly faces of children too wary to believe freedom could exist. In the days that follow, as fighting tears Normandy apart, the story circulates quietly from unit to unit. It is absent from official reports, unmentioned in proud announcements. Soldiers speak in hushed tones, often at night, when recounting the first day of the invasion. Some recall the tunnel brimming with explosives. Others speak of a resistance hideout. A few remember the children, pale and spectral, emerging into daylight. History often glorifies massive battles, monumental landings, and famed generals. Yet the war's most harrowing moments sometimes unfold in nameless places: a tunnel in the countryside, a door in the dark, a secret meant to stay hidden. Imagine the instant German soldiers bracing for armed foes, instead finding emaciated children. That is why the memory endures. For one fleeting moment, the tunnel revealed war in its rawest essence. Not strategy, flags, or speeches, just human lives, concealed underground, awaiting discovery before it was too late. Remarkably, on June 6, 1944, as the largest invasion in history raged above, the world's gaze fixed on beaches, parachutes, and tanks, this tunnel near St. Lo offered a hidden truth. No weapon, no map, no enemy lurked within, but the cost of what people hide when they believe no one is watching. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.